Talk Radio.
Hi everybody. You're listening to Celestial Intersections Radio live here on Blog Talk Radio, powered by eastrologer.tv. I'm Ernesto. I'm your host. And we will be with you guys for the next hour here on the show. We are trying to run a Podbean stream, but it seems like that's just on fire and not working. I'm not sure why that's all blown up, but that'll be for another day. That's just a different layer of things that I don't want to jump into, and we have a call queue, so I want to get to everybody today. I'm actually really glad that some of you guys from our old show, the Uranus Happens show, that you guys have come back to us. That's really exciting. We really appreciate having you, and we look forward to catching up with you soon. So I do want to mention a couple of things, though. You know, one of the things that I would always mention on the old program was I always mentioned this notion of a special friend, you know, like somebody that we can spend some time with, and, you know, like maybe to, have like like a special type of friendship or relationship. And this is really important. This is really key because we talk about this a lot, but we need to keep an open mind about it. So I had a very interesting experience this past week to where, like, I could actually calculate and show you the math, all of the numbers of, you know, the exact moment when I would meet somebody. And I did meet somebody this past week. Kind of threw me for a loop, though, because the person that I was meeting, the person that I was talking to, was a female, which was absolutely something that I never had expected. So, I mean, that is literally the definition of Uranus Happens. You know, man makes plans and God laughs. You know, like here I'm seeing something in my chart, thinking to myself, oh, I'm going to be settling down with a man here, and I'm finally going to be, you know, like meet the one, and everything is going to be great, and rose-colored glasses, kittens, and rainbows, pizza for everybody. Yay, right? No, absolutely not. And then I met a female, and it's like, you know, I'd really like to have kids, and I am so anti-child. And it's just kind of like, okay, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do with this. But I knew as it was going on that the nature of the conversation with this person was just sort of like, it felt like a job interview, but, you know, everything just kind of clicked. And there's just a sense of knowing, like, I don't know who you are, but we both seem to really accept each other and just kind of vibe in a way that we don't understand or do with other people. So maybe there's something here. And I sort of recognized this right away. And so I asked this person, you know, out, you know, to meet up for like lunch or dinner, whatever kind of thing, very casual, nothing really serious about it, because I don't care, you know. It's like this is definitely not a romantic thing because I'm not wired that way. So I just wanted to bring that up to everybody, that when I talk about a special friend, keep an open mind. You know, special friend truly means special friend. It does not necessarily mean you're going to hop into bed with this person or going to run off and have babies with them. It can also just very simply be, this is somebody that I really enjoy spending time with because we seem to have a special bond and we understand each other. And this companionship is really kind of what I need in this point in my life. So there's that element of it. It's not necessarily about the romance. So many of us get self-fixated on the end result, and really let's just focus on being in the moment and realizing, oh, there's somebody new here who would like to talk to me. This is very different than what I've ever had in the past, and I very much appreciate this over this lonely behavior pattern that I've been stuck in for so long. So we're going to get off to our phone lines in just a moment, but Verita, is there anything else you wanted to add about that? Because I think that it's sort of an important concept for people to wrap their mind around, that you may not get what you want, and if you don't, the reason for it will make sense later.
Possibly, yeah. So, yeah, I do have to add something, because a lot of times people see someone as their soulmate or their twin flame, or, you know, it was just meant to be. And again, that does not have to be an intimate partner. It can be someone that you can fall in love with, a friend, and love them unconditionally and feel for them, you know, past the stars and the moon, and feel like it's meant to be, and the next week it blows up. Well, it wasn't meant to be for that week, but when the need for that relationship was done, you know, finished, then it was over. It was just completely over. And the flip side to that is people will stay with someone indefinitely because of a contract situation, or because they were led to each other on purpose for that moment, and think, no, this is the one I'm supposed to be with, because it happened so organically, and I never would have thought it could have, you know, lasted, blah, blah, blah. And they end up being the total worst person you could possibly be with in an intimate relationship. So I would guarantee that if you're in a relationship with someone that just organically happened overnight, there's a point or a purpose to it that may or may not deem you staying with that individual for the rest of your life. And so the thing that I would say is when you meet someone, don't don't take it for granted, and but look at it at face value, that it may only be there in they may only be there in your life for a certain reason, which you may or may not know at that time. And once that reason is over, there's no relationship. There's no need for a relationship unless unless you got lucky and you bonded, and this is somebody that's going to be nice and you know um, share back with you what you're giving. And a lot of times it's not. A lot of times that person is going to take for granted and hurt you and not care and blah blah blah. So Z. But my point was when you meet someone like you kind of were told, Ernesto, you're going to find somebody, and they don't end up being who you would characteristically think that you'd be attracted to. There's a point to that. Absolutely a point to that. And it doesn't matter whether you know or not, and it doesn't mean you need to dig to the bottom to find out why. It just means that you need to have them in your life for that moment. But if that moment doesn't last, once they're gone, don't pine endlessly thinking, oh my God, that was the one true love of my life and it didn't, work, or I let it get away, or I chased it out, or whatever. Knock it off. They're just there for a little while. So don't cry and not allow anybody else in your life because you think that was the one perfect person that got away.
And I always love to give this example that remember that all of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims in that moment thought that he was their soulmate.
Yeah, exactly right.
So it doesn't always have to be kittens and rainbows. And then, like another thing too was that Amal was a very good friend of mine. Like we loved hanging out with each other. She was a very important player for me throughout my late 20s. And, while we may have lost contact with each other, but that's just the nature of my relationships and I won't get into that. It was a beautiful friendship that I had with somebody, and it was so great because if this girl had issues, I never heard about them. It was just like the best thing that could have ever happened to me. It was such a change of pace from my normal daily boring life, and it was definitely somebody I wasn't attracted to, but we had such a great friendship, and that's all that really mattered. And I think that a lot of people would tend to agree that it's not really about like the romance aspect of it, that doesn't matter, that we just want to be with somebody to enjoy life with, however that may be. So this has been
Yeah.
my thing lately, kind of wrestling with these new ideas. Like, I never saw that coming, huh? I never gave that a thought. And then it's just like this projected life that I've created for myself up in my mind, because remember, 99% of my life happens in my head. That whole vision board, that's just not the path that I'm heading down. It's something new, so it's changing. But that's one of the nice things about creative manifestation, when you're good at it and you practice it enough, is that whatever landscape it is that you've set up for yourself, it's always adjusting and morphing and changing to what the current conditions are. So this has been
Yeah.
a thing, and
Exactly.
I've also kind of had the experience lately about coming to terms with facets of myself that I don't like. So this would be like shadow work, I guess you could say. And realize, coming to terms like with the things that leave a bad taste in your mouth, that you have to say about yourself, that don't make you feel good. And just kind of like the emotional discomfort that comes along with that. Like, I'm really sorry, man, but there's really nothing that we can do about your lost order here. And I'm really even more sorry that we can't get a birthday present to you by tomorrow because it's just too late. And, we've already used up all of your courtesies here on this account. So there's nothing else we can do. So it's one of those types of situations. Except the main difference is that you can slowly start to work towards your goal. It just doesn't really seem like it's moving forward. It's such a slow trudge, but remember that every step forward is at least a step forward, as opposed to staying stuck in the mud, which is where a lot of us like to be, because that's what's comfortable. So I think
Yeah.
it does get easier with time. Hopefully it'll start to sink in. At least it is for me. I'm starting to see myself in a very different way. So that's always great. And um, it does get better. Biggest advice that I have for everybody, because no planets are on retrograde right now. This is huge. Pretty much one planet has always been in retrograde since about like 2015, and now until the middle of March, all planets will be moving direct. So that's a little bit of a change over the past astro weather we've had for a number of years here. So what that means from like a cosmic perspective is that because every celestial object in the solar system is moving in a direct movement, even though they're all moving at different rates. Theoretically, everything is moving faster because it's all moving together. So whatever things or balls that we may have had in motion for life projects or creative endeavors or work related matters, all of those things, if we're not being really super close to finishing those things off and wrap and putting a bow on it and saying we're done, there's going to be hell to pay, because when the spring comes, I think the spring is going to bring a very interesting energy. Something is going to happen. I can't speak to what extent, but it's going to be pretty serious, like a COVID type of event that'll be going on sometime this spring. I want to say like March to May should be some interesting months. So this is really a great time to be focusing on those aspects of ourselves or those projects that we need to be wrapping up, because once our next planet goes into retrograde middle of next month, then that's kind of when like this little period of really fast cosmic movement is going to come to an end. So this is really a time we need to get our work done. And then more importantly, just because of all of the weirdness that's happening in the world, turn off the TV, get away from it, and avoid the news. It really doesn't say anything. It's almost, like a narcissistic person, or dysfunctional relationship kind of thing. They're not going to help you. They don't care about you. Turn it off. Get away. Get the heck away from those people and all those lies, because it's a whole bunch of manufactured nonsense to get people angry about things that they can't control so that politicians can profit off of problems that we don't see. That's basically the main thing that's going on right now. So just stay away from it. Don't waste your time. It's kind of like we had a family gathering recently. Well, why do I want to spend time around family that don't care about me? Like we're the black sheep. Why would I want to support you? You've never supported my life decisions. So I'm not going to come out to help you. I'm sorry. Like I can say that about myself. I hope the same for you is true for you, because these are going to be some rough times that we're coming up into, and we need every little bit of mental clarity that we can get, because that's going to be a really serious thing that'll hit a lot of us pretty soon here.
Yeah, and the thing about that too is those things that hit us, they do not label us. They do not make us who we are in the term of that we're a victim or we're being attacked or we're being, pointed out, called out, isolated, whatever. That does not mean that's who we are. Who we are is what we think. So if you adopt their philosophies, yep, that's who you are. But if you think you're more than that or different than that, or really don't compare to what you're being tasked with, then that's who you are. That is who you will be in the future.
We're about to get off to our phone lines and start taking calls here, but I just wanted to add one more thing. So, Veretta, I know in astrology, like this is all a language, right? So we can read this and tell a story and everything. But the one thing that cannot be replaced by astrology is automation. Like automation can never replace an astrologer, because we don't know to what extent the client is living their life. Like we don't know if this is a positive or a negative manifestation. So, on your end, when you go through like messages from spirit and you're just kind of like, well, it could go either way, and that's really just sort of dependent on whatever the client is going to do, like their feelings in that moment. That's that free will piece of it that I always talk about here. How does that show up on your end? Because I'm trying to figure out, is there a way that I can read the chart to say, oh, well, this person's not living their best life, so we know that they're going to get the negative result here. Is there anything that you can do on your end to kind of discern like those 50-50, you're not really sure what's going to happen?
Yeah, what I do when someone asks a question or I'm looking in a direction specifically for an outcome, I'll either get pretty clear choice that will be made and the probability of the outcome will be XYZ, or I'll get a lot of gray. And gray for me means, well, I can't tell you that because there'll be decisions you have to make at the time that will discern or that will create the reality or the probability of the outcome. Now, what I can do sometimes, if there's not a lot of multiple choice in the gray, like say, you have a yes or no answer, I can say, if you say yes, this is the probability of the outcome. And if you say no, this is the probability of the outcome. So that they understand at that time when the choice needs to be made, what the result will be. But a lot of times, and people don't want to hear that, well, what am I going to do? I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know. I'm not in your head. I'm not in your heart. We're not in that time frame. I don't know all the external circumstances that will create, the reality of what you need to make the decision based on. I don't know what you're going to do. And that's where free will comes in, because most definitely a person, when I tell people too, just because I'm saying it doesn't mean it's set in stone. You have free will to change the outcome of anything that I may say because I'm reading your waves as a probability. So I can say you're going to go out the door and get hit by a bus, and you can go out the back door and totally forget all that. So I just told you something wrong. No, I didn't. I give you a probability of what may happen. But when there's a lot of gray, then I can't give you a solid probability based on the fact that there are choices to be made at that time that will influence or create the end result. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yes, so that's the free will piece, because it's just like it's never really clear, like how this is read. This is why we always ask probing questions to find out, how somebody's chart is resonating for them and how things are going. So, on that note, let's go ahead and get off to our phone lines here. I have Dion. We're gonna catch up with you from area code 630. I have your chart all pulled up. Hey, Dion, are you on the line? Can you hear me right now?
I can. Thank you for taking my call. I really missed you, both of you.
No, it's
Aw.
great to have you back on the show. We're really happy that you came with us.
I was like, I wonder if they're gonna come back, but I know what it's like. It's like you have to take a break or reorganize, and it's a new year, so fresh start. And I'm so glad to be able to talk to you today. I hope everything's going well.
Yeah, everything's going great. We just kind of had to do some rebranding. We're still processing a lot of different things to get our stream out there and get, more people involved and all of that kind of thing, because you know what this is like, what this experience is all about, and we just want to share this with everybody. We want everybody to be doing this with us. So, we're just trying to get out there, and it's just like a lot of, marketing kind of stuff that you have to research, and we're not professionals, so this takes time.
Yeah, well, you're learning it, just trusting the process that whoever needs to hear your message will, right?
Right. Yeah. And
Correct.
how have you been? How have things been going?
Okay, so things are going great. I'm writing a documentary, another book. I like writing the books. I just decided to just give up everything else and just take a leap of faith, because
Good for you.
it's like, yeah, this just feels right. Like, it's easy to me. It flows. I'm not fighting the process. And so growing my online presence and working on a contract because I can get it in advance. This one's a high profile case, and I seem to be the person with the answers. So that's why I said, yeah, I'll do it. So with that, I'm inviting abundance and luxury into my life, and go from there.
Good for you. Good for you.
Just working and enjoying it, though. Not having to go. I went all the other routes. I went and applied for work and stuff like that. It's like I'm really good at this, so I'm just going to stick with it, know that the money will be coming, and then with that, I can.
And usually
do things.
exactly, the path of least resistance is usually the right one. So unless you're tasked with learning something, and then maybe it's not so easy, but it sounds like you're doing well, and that you've accepted the fact that spirit is going to work with you. You just have to let it. You have to open a door and allow it in, and do what is supposed to happen. So, what question do you have for us today?
A while. Okay, so just a general Just a general, actually. What are you picking up for me?
So, all right, great. So, I'm actually looking at this, Dion. So, I'm looking at, publishing houses because that's specifically, I think, something that you would be interested in more than most people just because you're doing this whole writing endeavor and you want to know how is this going to turn out for me. It's like because you just as a leap of faith, you decided I'm really drawn to go down this path, so let me go ahead and do it. And now you want to know, so how is it going to turn out? Am I going to regret it? I would at least think that you'd at least like to know that. And I'm here to tell you that, as far as publishing goes, where that green dot is, we're asking that question of your chart right now. This all speaks very strongly for you. This is definitely a time where, um, you're doing the right thing. So you may feel like I'm drawn to do this, but I'm not really too sure about it. No, it's definitely going to work out. I think that this will Veretta, what do you pick up on motion picture?
Um, I do feel like there'll be an opportunity to. I want to hear the word cast. I'm not sure. You'll maybe have actual opportunity to cast the shows, but I feel like you'll have one specifically, and I think another one that will be ongoing. And so I don't know if that's going to be a running documentary or a type of show that focuses on or spotlights documentaries of who you're writing on. But I do feel like that is something down the road. Yes.
Yeah, like this writing thing that you've picked up, this will probably lead to like TV or movie deals kind of thing. You may want to look at doing a little bit of screenwriting in your spare time just to kind of get yourself familiar with that format of writing. It is super different from writing novels, let me tell you. And a friend of mine is actually a professor of screenwriting, and what's so awful is that the screenwriting department at Arizona State University is handled through the English department, which is weird because in most universities, screenwriting is handled through like film, right? Like that's where you normally want to learn that craft. But it's handled through the English department. So what ends up happening is you have like creative writing students who are learning how to write novels and poetry who walk into like a screenwriting class, and screenwriting is extremely literal. So, we don't really waste time to say something like that, she sat there in silence. Like we don't do that. That doesn't really say a whole lot. Or that, she was feeling cold. Well, don't tell us that she was feeling cold. Show us that she was cold. There's a difference. So, like that, those little minor nuances and differences can be very hard for like novelists to transition out of into the screenwriting world. So I feel like that if you did spend a little bit of time with that, it would really benefit you. Because that will be coming down your road in the future as some motion picture stuff. And as far as the publishing goes today, where we're looking at, if you're watching our YouTube stream, you'll see that I put like some green circles here. Now there's a lot more to this as far as what's going on here. And you've got like this Jupiter, and that by direction. So this is your Jupiter today is making contact to the question about publishing, and then that's also making contact to Pluto, Vulcanus, Meridian. So this is like power, personal changes, and transformations that's going to be caused by finances with the Jupiter. Remember, Jupiter can also be good luck. But because what's interesting here, though, is that you have this double Hades pattern on the opposite side. Because you have the Jupiter also, that's just going to change the Hades to be from, something unfortunate to where you actually benefit from misfortunes. So, like these, if your writing is about, like something that's factual that happened, it was a case, it was a story, it was really messed up and grisly and awful. And then you're writing about it, you would profit from it. You would benefit from it. The event already happened and it was unfortunate. Now you're going to benefit. So fortune through misfortune. That'll be another thing for you. So while you're fishing for content and material to sort of generate new story ideas and new directions, I'd really be looking for the stuff that's very dark, unknown. So like dark, unknown, and grisly, like awful. Those are four key words that I would be looking for things in the future, and I think that's going to be your bread and butter for a while. So you're really going to be enjoying it. I really hope, Dion, that you're going to enjoy this new shift in mental direction for you. This is such a total 180 from what you've done in the past, always trying to just fight or flight with the normal job stuff. But now you're actually doing what you love. Doesn't it feel great? Isn't it amazing to be blessed, to be at a point in life where you can say, I only do what brings joy in my life?
Wow. And you're single?
I also
I
get
don't believe
two.
it.
And I also get yeah, right. I also he's an acquired taste. He's a great guy, but you gotta like him for who he is. Anyway, so for you, Dion, I think that your forte also will include politicians, and whether they fit in the category like Ernesto was saying, grisly and awful. I do feel like calamity or catastrophe may follow suit with politicians. So you have a large pool to draw from to write about. And that most likely will be why you have endless work, the opportunity to continue to write. And I get also that long after you're established, making money, living in your abundance and luxury, you're going to keep writing because it's just what you do. And it's come so easy to you. It's what you know. So I think you have a long life in this aspect of income and opportunity to create wisdom for others.
Wow. Thank you. I really appreciate all of that. That's a lot of energy read for me, and it's exactly what I was looking for. You're so amazing.
Well, I mean, it's
Woohoo,
just
score. At least
yeah.
that one right.
Thank you so much. We appreciate the kind words. But you know what, Dion? This is what's even more amazing. This is all just science. I'm just reading. I'm just reading a language off of your chart here, and I'm able to get all of that. Anybody can do this, and I'm working on a book that'll teach people how to do this, which is really exciting because we've never seen something like this before. So that's what's really I really love about this work, and that's kind of what brings me back to it every single time is the fact that this is you, this is your life. You already know what's happening. I can just tell you the life events that are going down, and then based on your own actions, which is your choices in the moment, then we can say, all right, so this is what you can expect based off of that information. And so
Can you do an app? Can you do an app? I don't know where that just came from, but can you do an app, make an app of what you're doing? Because, and write the book too. I'm not saying that, but, because you sent me like the Uranus chart one time, and yeah, I believe anybody could do it, but you can do it already. So what about an app? You're sort of tech savvy, aren't you?
Not at all. I would have to pay somebody hardcore to take care of that for me.
That's a good idea,
you have
though.
the resume for it. I'm sorry, I didn't
I'm
mean to
feeling it
so
too.
it's just like you feel the app.
No, that resonates.
It does, yeah.
That absolutely resonates with him. Yep.
Yeah, it's probably like it's going to start out as an enhanced ebook that's going to be sort of like a college level course all in one thing. You don't even need a real teacher. And then there will be, an app, but that'll be further down the line. That'll be part of our branding. But yeah, the book will be all inclusive, and that'll be an enhanced ebook that has like video and interactive kinds of things for homework exercises. Very exciting what we can do with it. So I'm looking forward to that, and Veretta's going to help me to tease out the homework exercises for self-exploration through reading your chart and then finding out, now based on these talents and skills that I have in this lifetime, how can I make this work to my advantage?
Yeah. Yep.
So it was
great idea, though, Dan.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you called in. We're so glad to have you back. We love having you here on the show, Dion. Really means a lot to us.
Thank you. I want to listen to more readings. Thank you for everything. I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, for sure. And hey Dion, if you need some help with like the screenwriting, if you're not really sure how to do the formatting and or that kind of stuff, I know Final Draft is a software that's available. It's like usually $200, but there are some online options that are not too bad either. That are usually free in a lot of cases, but they've got some issues. I can point you in the direction of some resources if you want to get into that. I really think you would be wise to add screenwriting to your list of skills with writing abilities, because you're going to get approached. And, I want you to be ready for that, to say, oh, yeah, I can definitely do that. Like you already know how to put it together. Because, trying to throw something together and then you don't even know the craft, well, that's going to be a different story altogether.
Okay, I did start a process of it. Like I did one list of like characters, and then I did one list of like the timeline, and then that's where I was kind of like, well, I don't know if the book's going to really be a book or if it should just be a movie, because I'm more or less writing like the screenplay, but maybe not putting it in the right format. So I will definitely look into that today. You're
Yeah.
right on the money as usual.
And then also look into Jake Snyder's Save the Cat. That's a pretty much like a gold standard Bible when it comes to learning about story direction and that kind of thing. There's Bill Harmon's Story Circle also, but that's more for TV writers. So that works for me. The thing for you though, Jake Snyder's Save the Cat, that'll teach you all the major story beats about how to build drama and suspension and tension, all of that kind of good stuff. It's really geared more for TV writers, but it's meant to write a movie, a film script, but the information is pared down from actual screenwriting for features in such a way that everybody can kind of understand it. So I'd really recommend that one. And there's some practice exercises in that everybody who learned how to, who's really serious about screenwriting knows Save the Cat and that whole methodology.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So it was great to catch up with you, Dion, and we will catch up with you soon. Be sure to subscribe to this new channel so you can get new updates of this on the future. We will be back with everybody on Wednesday. That'll be 6 to 7 p.m. We'll be doing Wednesdays this month from 6 to 7, and then Sundays 10 to 11.
Oh, great. I have a lot to look forward to. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
It was awesome to have you. We'll catch up with you soon. Take care, and until next time.
Okay, bye.
Blessings. Okay, and we are going to get off to Jessica here from area code 267. Hi, Jessica. Are you there on the line with me?
I am. Hey, guys. Welcome back. I was wondering what happened, too, so it's nice to see you guys.
Well, it's really nice to hear that people actually love us and actually care about to know what happened to us. So that means a lot. Because you know what's worse than death? To be forgotten.
Is that a quote? I think that's a quote.
It
right?
is. It's from Final Fantasy IX, and I live by it. I think it's terrific.
Very good.
Okay, so Jessica, how have you been? How have things been going? I know you had some transition and you were kind of figuring out some new things and really liking it. How did all that work out for you?
Yeah, so lots of good things have been happening. I recently got a job, so I'm very happy about that. I like the job too.
Congratulations.
So I'm getting used to that. Thank you. And I've been staying in this really nice cottage on a 50-acre estate. And I was just here temporarily for a month, and now I'm getting ready to move again. I'm still I call it a freedom tour rather than the homeless thing that was going on. I just call it my freedom tour.
Perfect.
I'm still going through that. I actually found a house that I like, and I have an application in on it. So I'm waiting to hear back if I was accepted, if this is going to be my house, or if this is still continuing. So just wondering what you guys were picking up as far as housing, living situation. But I will say it's nice because I am getting settled here in Pennsylvania, and I just feel like I've been laying down roots, and I'm just feeling more comfortable all around and I've been meeting people everywhere I've moved. So there's been a lot of good that's come out of it.
Perfect. It sounds like you're off to a good start and getting a solid foundation.
Yes, it's yes, exactly the word foundation. Yep.
Well, I can tell you that what I'm picking up, and hopefully Ernesto will give you a little more detail in regard to that, is if you didn't find the right house, if this application you've got in is the right house, it's right now anyway. So if there's another house you find here within the next week or so, 10 days, whatever, 2 weeks maybe, put an application in on that. One of these two are going to come through. You're going to have a house here very shortly.
Okay.
And it'll be where you want. You won't have to settle. It won't be something that you're miserable or unhappy about. It'll be relatively what you want.
Yeah, I've gone through a lot of lessons. I went through a lot of lessons with that, whether to settle or not settle. I've had a lot of houses come up, and I couldn't do it on all of them. And then when I ended up finding this place, this cottage on this huge estate, I was like, okay, I see Spirit actually is listening to me. I'm okay. And they just wanted me to go on this journey to do a bunch of healing work for my, clear a bunch of stuff that I had. Yeah.
It's absolutely awesome that you can see that. A lot of people don't. A lot of people dwell in the pity of woe's me. I can't get a house. I can't do this. I can't do that. Yeah, you can. You just have to wait a little bit. You got to know Spirit's working on your behalf. Sometimes what you get is not a punishment, but Spirit will offer you something to subside until that right time comes. But it's good that you're in that place. Your mindset will dictate the outcome. Don't forget that. Your mindset will dictate the outcome. And if you're feeling like you're feeling comfortable, you're happy, you're going to win if you want to, that's exactly the outcome. That will be what you get in the long term. So Ernesto, what are you picking up?
Okay, so Jessica, the main thing, the takeaway more so than I think the housing situation is like when we look at this year, where you are, if you're watching our YouTube stream, you'll see that I have two circles around the Aries point. That's that red Aries, and there's a line that's connecting them, and then there's three squares that are right on that arrow there. So what that means is this year, the circles is defined by those three squares, which is Sun Poseidon. That's like the astral body. That's, you and spirituality. Like, I should hope that you have done something to develop your own intuitive skills, to be able to maybe do some spirit communication or to get in touch in that way. Like this is going to be a pretty hardcore year where you're going to get in touch with your spirituality. Like, and I don't know if this is something that you've maybe started to broach or address in the past, but like this is the year where that actually wakes up. So that's going to be the biggest thing of all. As far as like the housing situation, so you're just kind of wanting to know, like, am I going to move, right? Like, or you want to get out of the?
Well, I definitely am moving. I'm moving on Wednesday from here. The question is like where. So it might be a temporary situation until this house, I can transition into that. The other people move out.
Uh-huh.
One of the things I was wondering is like, am I going to end up entering into a year lease, or is it going to be another short-term thing that's maybe 3, 4, or 6 months or something along those lines too? I don't know if you guys are picking up anything with that. Or Veretta, you get anything?
Well, I don't know if what I'm seeing when Vanessa brought your chart up, it has anything to do with long-term, but yeah, I think you are going to get in a long-term lease. I do feel like it'll be where you comfortably dwell and not think, oh, well, I better not unpack that box because I really hate packing. I'll just pack it back up. You will have the opportunity to settle down.
Yeah, you will. I agree. Absolutely. That this is going to be, and you're going to like it. Like this is actually the life that you wanted for yourself. Like this is, the nightmare is finally over, Jessica. Remember when you first came to us, you were not really in a very good place at that point in your life. I think,
very bad.
I think a lot of, like the hailstorm that you were living through was kind of coming to an end. And it finally has. So now you're able to, see everything into the light and get some new clear perspective. And this is going to be the year where, you finally get the things that you want out of life. And especially with this new housing situation, it is absolutely going to happen. There's going to be a change, and you're going to like it. It's going to be something that's stable. And I think that's really the key word here is, like all of this weirdness about like, I don't know if I'm going to have a roof over my head this month, or like, I don't know what's going to happen next week, when all of those very real conversations you'd have with yourself, like those don't have to be a thing anymore. Now you can actually just focus on life and enjoy it. And when you get into this new place, make it spiritual AF, like buy a fountain, a tabletop fountain that has a spout. And then in feng shui, what you would do is make sure that the water spout points south, because that way, that's the direction of spirit. You always want spirit coming from the north, bringing that water into your space. So, to spiritualize your space, I think is going to be really key for you. And, also to seek out those types of individuals or people who can help you in that regard with your own, psychic development or spiritual abilities, or, whatever, however you want to phrase it. Those are going to be the things that you're going to want to work on. So seek out those types of groups and people. And of course, be careful of the ones that screw you over, because there's spiritual bankruptcy all over the place, and we can tell you all about that. But this is going to be a year, whether you like it or not. Again, you will learn your spirituality. That's going to be brought to the forefront one way or another. So always keep that in mind. Always be receptive to spirit, and whatever you're being drawn to do, just do it. Whether if it feels weird or not, just do it, because they're right. They're right on, and you're in a point where you can be so in tune with yourself that it's going to be scary what you manifest.
Yeah, well, scary in a good way. I mean, I know that is what this past year has really set me, because I'm very spiritual as it is and very intuitive. And like this whole experience has been very much getting me into this like sort of primal way of being that, here my lease is up in 3 days and I'm fine. I'm listening to spirit to see where I'm going to go. But I've done this so many times over the last 10 months. That I just trust. Something always opens up. I'm always guided to go a certain way. And it's funny, somebody was saying to me, hey, when you've been in that experience for so long, it's like you're feral. And it didn't really register to me what he was talking about. But I looked it up and I was like, yeah, it's totally like that. You're just like a wild woman. Like you're listening to your intuition and your instincts. And like that's how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be raw like that. And instead we're really shut down. So I really look forward to going deeper into this power that I've developed over the last year, and also like going deeper into my creativity. Like even when I went to go look at this house, and I've been thinking about doing more of my artwork, I went to this like lower level of the house, and the girl had this potter's wheel there, and I was like, that's exactly what I want to be doing, my clay work again. So it was just like a cool sign. Yeah. You'll
get those signs, and when you're open enough to receive them, you'll understand that that's affirming what you want.
Yeah.
And Jessica, just to add, the creative artwork kind of stuff, that's going to be a way that you can connect into spirit. Like you will be hardwired whenever you do those kinds of activities. You may even start to notice like pops or flashes of lights or different colors. When the spirits start to come in and join you, kind of thing. You may even start to notice some changes in the voices of your own internal dialogue, and when you're doing that artwork, and that's just because spirit's always there. So that's always going to be a way. If you want to know an alternative to meditation to, get wired in, that's going to be the way to do it. Loretta, is there anything else you want to add to that? Because I think that speaks pretty strong here.
Yeah. I do want to add to that. I want to add specifically to the phrase you just used. When you start hearing different dialogue, that means that you've got different guides on board. And I do believe that you will have different guides on board now, because you've satisfied the old lessons of learning. So you're going to be learning new things in a new manner from a different source. It's not a bad way. It's not a bad thing at all whatsoever. It just means that you've completed the course that you were previously on. So that guide no longer needs to be on board, and the next one is going to come. So when you start hearing a different dialogue, when you start having different interests, when you start automatically paying attention to something you were never interested in before, that's because these guides they're different than the previous ones. So they have different characteristics. So just be paying attention to that. I feel like also, so my motto is I'm spirit-led and spirit-driven. When you're spirit-led and spirit-driven, then you need to be flexible. You need to be feral enough to respond in the moment in a matter that coordinates to what you're being guided to do. Yeah, it may seem inconsistent to some people because, you've gone on one track for so long and all of a sudden you shift course direction. And they're like, well, wait, what happened? I missed something. Well, it wasn't for yours to keep track of, but yeah, you missed something. I was internally guided to go in a different direction, and I know better than not to follow spirit. So you will be gaining new source information, and that will be the next step in your book. That'll be the next step in your history in your life that you'll be taking. So just watch out for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you guys. You've confirmed a lot of stuff that I'm already going through. And even like the job I accepted, I mean, I'm working in retail as a manager, which is something that I never kind of wanted to do, or, I left behind years ago. And I'm like, I really feel like, because before I was doing my spiritual work full time, working as a healer and stuff like that. And it was a lot of a struggle. And I was like, I don't want to live that way anymore. I want to have this steady paycheck coming in. And like, I'm still writing my books and like doing spiritual work, but it's on the side now. And I just feel like I'm being of service. And I'm like, this is weird. How am I of service working at a retail store for one of these like corrupt companies? But I was like, you know what? I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. And I do, I'm being of service to the people who work there. I'm helping calm them down when they get overwhelmed with stupid things.
And Jessica, here's the thing about customer service that's interesting. So customer service is ruled by the planet Hades, which is, things that are unwanted, things that are unpleasant and all of that. But, but on the positive end of it for customer service, we're resolving problems, we're resolving issues, all of the conflicts, we make those go away. So that's the positive end of customer service. And, if you're anything like me, you may have been going through a period in life where you very simply need what I refer to as a karma sink. You need some type of structure in your life that absorbs all of this nastiness and difficult energy, and you're choosing to manifest it through customer service work to resolve those problems and issues. So it takes, all of the crap that we go through and experience on a day-to-day normal life, and it reshapes that and it morphs it by alchemy and taking it into problem solving so that, what used to be a weight on our shoulders and eats away at our psyche every single day until we just can't take it anymore. Well, now those things are all gone, and we can focus on what really matters in our life because we're helping others. So kudos to you for doing the customer service thing. I know a lot of people, it's just unpleasant and not great, but that's one of the really amazing positive things about customer service on that end is the fact that it takes us out of ourselves. All of the crap that we think that really matters in our lives, it really doesn't, because we've got this new hailstorm that we have to deal with right in front of us, and it's if it's do or die. So I just want to let you know that whenever you're feeling down, or anybody in life, do some problem solving work. Listen to some people, listen to some complaints, process all of that difficult energy, and make that into a positive experience, and watch what happens to your own self when your perspective just changes.
Yeah, it's true, because the problems that they think that they have are like really non-issues. So it's like, okay, I could take care of this, I could take care of that, whatever. Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Thank you very much. It was nice speaking with you again, and I will continue to listen as well.
Yeah, it was great to have you on the show, Jessica. We will catch up with you real soon, and take care, and until next time.
Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Blessings. Okay, and we are going to get out to Stacy here from area code 919. Hi, Stacy. Can you hear us? Are you on the line with us?
This is Kay.
Kay, I'm so sorry. I got you here.
No worries. No. My name is Sandra Kay, but I go by my middle name Kay.
Oh, okay, I got it. So, now I just want to let you know that we have a few minutes here and we may get cut off. The Blog Talk radio stream will be cutting off at 11 a.m. on the hour, but we are still going to keep the stream open just so that way we can go ahead and finish this call out here. So, the stream will be still picking up on YouTube, so you can watch everything over there as well. So, Kay, I got your chart pulled up here for you. I know it's been a while since we've been on a break here, and we've also rebranded the show. But how have you been? How have things been going?
Light work is going amazing. I have been blessed to get a position that I didn't see coming. Never would have known to apply for it. It's contract to permanent, which I'm trusting and believing that it is going to be a permanent position. Things are going well. I can't complain. I'm just happy. And I did have a question regarding romance. I'm just trying to enjoy this life, but I'm doing well.
Perfect. All right, great. What's your question about romance today?
So the quickest verse way to answer it, we're running out of time, is there a future between me and Karen?
Loretta?
Okay, so yeah, the way you phrased the question, okay, the way you phrased the question would be a no. All right, now let me say, I think you're going to have interaction with this individual. I feel like you're going to have some time to spend together with this individual, but again, the way you phrase the question, the answer is no. And so this is what I say about that: don't ditch them, don't ditch them all around, because honestly, there's something in this relationship that you need. And I do believe that this for you is a contract individual. I don't know, and I think that when the time frame comes that it's over, it's over. I mean, like, it'll happen quickly. You'll be on, you'll be okay, or somewhat okay in your mind with them, and then all of a sudden, something will happen, or some catastrophe will pop up, and you're gonna like, I'm tapping out. I'm done. Bye bye. And so it will happen quickly. There will not be agonizing over whether to do it. There will not be like, is this it? Is this it? No, you'll know immediately when that time frame comes that your relationship with them has come to an end. So maybe Ernesto can give you a little bit more about this. It'll help you understand maybe why or when or whatnot. But again, the way you phrase the question, the outcome is no. Ernesto?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I get the sense, Kay, that the relationship, is there a lot of confusion going on? Like, it's not really clear if you're even dating or not?
We're not dating. We were just friends and getting to know each other. And, eventually possibly maybe going in that direction. She lives in California. I live in Georgia. It was someone from her past that started stalking both of us, and it just kind of put a rift in our communication, but we're not dating. We're not in a relationship.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so I mean, I get the sense that there's going to be like some more weirdness going on with that. So, the communication that you have with this person, that's just going to kind of drop off. It's just going to kind of go away. And I think a lot of that is just because that of the harassment, and how the impact that it has on both of you together, which is really quite unfortunate. But from what I can see in your chart, because I'd really have to take a look at their stuff, it really seems to me more like that they have some issues, with, as far as, like saying no or boundaries are concerned, to allow this behavior, right? Like most human beings, me for sure, like I know that I would never allow somebody to, just kind of parade and do what they want to do, and it does all of these awful things. But I think kind of what you're experiencing right now is that you feel the unfortunate emotional distress that's caused by them being in contact with this other person, which doesn't have to happen. It really doesn't. But they, for some reason, there's like some heartstrings that they feel are important, so they want to keep that person around. So that's the main thing. I really feel like that you guys will still keep talking to each other, but there will come a time when that just kind of drops off and goes away. And I think it'll just sort of be like a mutual agreement, like, oh, whatever we thought that we had to do with each other, that's not true anymore. We already did that, so we can just move on now. It's like, let's just enjoy our lives, no hard feelings. Really glad that you were there for the ride and helped me through this little bit here, open my mind to some new concepts and ideas. But this just isn't right for me right now, because like the other person, that they've got some stuff going on. I feel like for you though, Kay, as far as like what you're concerned in this whole matter, like you getting out there would speak very positively towards you. You are in a period where, you can be meeting some new people and have some nice, pleasant connections. So I think that, getting out there and making yourself more available to others, that would also draw in some new love types of energies. I don't think it's necessarily going to be with this other person that you were thinking about, but there is somebody else out there. Veretta, do you agree with that?
I do. And Kay, if you're right now in your head thinking, well, then what's the point of that? Why should I even go there? Or why is this person coming? All right. So what I'm gonna reiterate again, this is a contract individual, which means there's a point that you contracted with this individual to come into each other's life and fulfill the contract, and then when that contract's filled, it's over. Now here's the other caveat to that. You're a very loving, caring, unconditionally giving individual. And you collect things that are broken or could need help mending or need a lot of support and understanding. You absolutely got the ability to do that. And she falls into this category. So if at some point, like Ernesto says, your brain goes, yeah, no, I don't want to do this anymore. You're learning right now that it's admirable to want to collect broken things, but not a necessity. So just remember that if you have her in your life, you don't have room for anybody else that could be around you. And I agree with Ernesto when he says, you're this right now, this window of opportunity is for you to find someone that you can settle down with, or you can create a long-lasting relationship. And so when Karen is over, Karen is over. Don't even entertain the idea of, well, I should probably carry her for a little bit and make the separation easier for her, or don't do that. Don't do that, honey. Ernesto's right. She's got problems. She's got issues. So
it's interesting that you guys are saying that, because that's more in line with my ex, not even Karen, because Karen and I are not, we never had a relationship. But how you're describing is exactly what I feel with my ex, Denise. I just I tried to be tolerant of her fully understanding now what I brought to the relationship, but I'm done with it. And everything you just described, I've not had that with Karen, because, like I said, we're just getting to know each other.
Not yet.
Definitely.
Not yet. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're saying you're acknowledging that's a pattern, and what I'm telling you is that doesn't have to be you. That does not have to be how you respond to relationships. So just carry yourself into a relationship, understanding that if I don't get 50% back of what I'm at least giving, then there's no point in this, none whatsoever. I don't have to carry you. I don't have to polish you up. I don't have to pick you up and mend you and heal you and be tolerant of all your BS. And then have to heal myself because you wound me in the process. You don't have to do that, honey. Those days for you are over. Over.
Okay. All right.
Alrighty.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It was.
And you're a good person. I just want to say, Kay, you're a really awesome individual. I can't say enough. I can't express enough how I feel. What you deserve is more than you're willing to put up with and get. So just remember, honey, you are shiny and you need to remain shiny. And if that blinds people, so be it. But the people that can handle the shiny, those are the ones you deserve.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Kay, I'm going to end with this. You are going to come in. It looks like that you will be coming into contact with some of the members from your tribe. So like your soul family, they're just around the corner. Just keep an eye out. Just like our last caller, Jessica, staying open, to what spirit has to show you and all of those kinds of things. That's something that you would definitely benefit from now by following your own intuition. Is coming into contact with new people. The people who get you, the people who really understand you at a soul level. They're just right there, so close, so close, so close. And I think that the relationship with Karen is to open your mind to the fact of these are the things that I really want. Like the stuff that's not feeling great for me, the stuff that doesn't make me feel happy and all butterflies on the inside. Those are the things that I don't want. So, let's focus on the things that I do want and attract these for myself, because you're in a really hot period for that. So, I'd really love to see you getting out there more and, joining new groups and, just being more social. Like that's going to open your mind again to some more new ideas that are very exciting that all have to do with that love relationship and, bringing in the right partner that's true for you.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Well, we really appreciate you coming back.
90 seconds.
And we'll catch up with you real soon.
All right.
Take care, and until next time.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Blessings. Okay, well, we do want to thank all of our guests for today. That is the end of our program. We will be back with you guys on Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. for a 1-hour show. Again, my name is Ernesto, here with Celestial Intersections Radio. And Veretta, I do want to thank you so much for joining us here on the show today. It's always a pleasure to have you live with us. For all other things Uranian Astrology, be sure to go
60 seconds.
eastrologer.tv, and Veretta, you can find her website at verettavision.com. We'll be back with you guys Wednesday night for our next program. Thank you to all of our guests and our callers today for joining us, and remember to like our YouTube page, because Uranian Astrology is so much better when you can see it. It really is. So thank you guys, everybody, and Veretta, to you as well. It's always a pleasure.
No problem. Everybody dance now, and we will see you, hear you, and be in touch from the other side.
Yep. Until next time, we will see you guys on Wednesday night. Good luck and Godspeed. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.